So let me just walk you through the Bible. You ready? Let me tell you something. A lot of guys, I was with some guys early this morning, and the reason so many guys don't read it is they read it, they go, I have no idea what that means. What good is that going to do me? And there's certainly certain parts of your Bible that make no sense. Let me just break this down for you very simply. All right? In your Old Testament, the very first 17 books are the entire history of the Old Testament. There's a total of 39 books in your Old Testament. How do you remember that? I'm going to make it easy for you. Old Testament. Old. 1, 2, 3. O-L-D. Testament. If you spell it correctly, and if you can't do that, that's a whole nother remedial class, all right? That's 9. So 3, 9. That's how you know how many books are in your Old Testament. But the first 17 of those books are all the history. That means the next 22 fit somewhere back in those first 17. Now, the first 5 books were written by Moses. You saw little Drew up there doing that. If you got a Bible, open to the table of contents. This is going to really help you, all right? Here's how you can remember the simple structure of your Old Testament. After the 17th book of your Bible, you want to draw a little line. And I'll tell you what book that is in just a moment. The first 5 were written by Moses: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And then you got a guy named Joshua who leads them into a land. Then you got the book of Judges. And then you got Ruth. And if you can just knock off those first 8 books, then it gets kind of tricky with the next few. How do you remember whether Samuel or Kings or Chronicles or all the other ones go together? Here's a simple way to remember it, okay? I'm stupid, so sometimes word pictures help me. So here's the way I remember it once I get through the book of Ruth. All right, I picture 2 mules, and right, you always name a mule. If you're at the Kentucky Derby, you're going to name the horses. If you got mules, you're going to name the mules. And so there's 2 mules, and their names are Sam. 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, right there. Picture riding on those mules called Sam, 2 kings. You got 1 king and 2 kings. So now I know how my Bible's put together. I got 2 Samuels with 2 kings, and they're holding newspaper. What's another word for a newspaper? Chronicles. That's exactly right. So now I know how those go together. I got Samuels with kings on them holding newspapers. And what do newspaper boys always do when they're trying to get you to buy it, right? They're sitting there and they're yelling, Ezra, Ezra, read all about it, right? So that's next. And there's always a big story. And so what's the big story? You got this. Ezra, Ezra, read all about it. Nehemiah rebuilds the wall in record time. Come get your newspaper. 2 Samuels with kings holding Chronicles saying, Ezra, Ezra, read all about it. Nehemiah rebuilds the wall. Then you flip to the entertainment section, right? And you find out that Esther was just named Miss Israel, all right? Actually, Miss Persia. Miss Persia. She was from Israel, but she won Miss Persia, which is a great deal. And then you just go to the classified sections and you get yourself a Job. So that's basically, that's how you can remember the way your Bible's put together up to that point, all right?